Albany for the second straight week. The Albany Firewolves take to the floor at MVP Arena. This time around, they welcome in the Philadelphia Wings for the first of two matchups between the two this season. We're moments away from face-off, and the countdown to face-off is brought to you by Castor. A look at the NLL standings entering play this weekend. Philly was one of 8 teams with a... Okay. We are in Albany for the second straight week. The Albany Firewolves take to the floor at MVP Arena. This time around, they welcome in the Philadelphia Wings for the first of two matchups between the two teams this season. We're moments away from opening face-off, and the countdown to face-off is brought to you by Castor. A look at the NLL standings entering play this weekend. My face is blocked by the NLL standings.
Mitch is staring directly at the screen.
Mitch is looking at the screen. I am standings. We are in Albany for the second straight week. The Albany Firewolves take to the floor at MVP Arena. This time around, they welcome in the Philadelphia Wings for the first of two matchups between the two this season. We're moments away from opening face-off, and the countdown to face-off is brought to you by Castor. A look at the NLL standings entering play this weekend. Philly was one of 8 teams with a winning percentage between 500 and 600. They're in the mix entering play today, while the Firewolves need a win to start clawing their way back into the fight. Up in the broadcast booth with NLL champion Mitch Belisle, I'm Dan Ball. Ashley Miller will join us on the floor in just a few moments. Mitch, this Philly team, they are high event. They score a lot, they give up a lot. They take on an Albany team who's looking to find their form from last season when they went to the NLL Finals.
Yes, Albany has some key pieces coming back in the lineup, so they're looking to get into a little bit of a rhythm, but this is a high-flying Wings offense that puts up a lot of points, so they're going to put a lot of pressure on that Albany defense.
Lots of intriguing matchups on the floor here this evening, one of which being the battle of the last first overall picks in the NLL, beginning with the Philadelphia Wings. Brennan O'Neill has certainly been making a home for himself.
The Bayshore, New York native is an absolute terror for opposing defenses. He brings size. He brings the ability to score. He's the first American to be picked first, indoor and outdoor, ever. So unbelievable skill set. He really is going to put a lot of pressure in addition to Resetaritz and Jones.
For Albany, because of COVID, they had to wait a year to see their Duke Blue Devil take the floor, but Dyson Williams has been worth the wait thus far.
Yeah, Dyson Williams is playing with a lot of his peers out there in Simmons and Kurtz, but has been putting up impressive numbers, dishing the ball and scoring himself, doing a really nice job fitting into that number 1 role.
For more on this game, we welcome in the third member of our crew. Here's Ashley Miller on the floor. Sure. We are in Albany for the second straight week. The Albany Firewolves.
A lot of points, so they're going to put a lot of pressure on that Albany defense.
Telling stories or showcase a virtual tour of your 92-mile.
I'm having a second piece. We are in Albany for the second straight week. The Albany Firewolves take to the floor at MVP Arena. This time around, they welcome in the Philadelphia Wings for the first of two matchups between the two this season. We're moments away from opening faceoff, and the countdown to faceoff is brought to you by Castor. A look at the NLL standings entering play this weekend. Philly was one of 8 teams with a winning percentage between 500 and 600. They're in the mix entering play today, while the Firewolves need a win to start clawing their way back into the fight. Up in the broadcast booth with NLL champion Mitch Belisle, I'm Dan Ball. Ashley Miller will join us on the floor in just a few moments. Mitch, this Philly team, they are high event. They score a lot, they give up a lot. They take on an Albany team who's looking to find their form from last season when they went to the NLL Finals.
Yes, Albany has some key pieces coming back in the lineup, so they're looking to get into a little bit of a rhythm, but this is a high-flying Wings offense that puts up a lot of points, so they're going to put a lot of pressure on that Albany defense.
Lots of intriguing matchups on the floor here this evening, one of which being the battle of the last first overall picks in the NLL, beginning with the Philadelphia Wings. Brennan O'Neill has certainly been making a home for himself.
The Bayshore, New York native is an absolute terror for opposing defenses. He brings size. He brings the ability to score. He's the first American to be picked first, indoor and outdoor, ever. So unbelievable skill set. He really is going to put a lot of pressure in addition to Resetaritz and Jones.
For Albany, because of COVID, they had to wait a year to see their Duke Blue Devil take the floor, but Dyson Williams has been worth the wait thus far.
Yeah, Dyson Williams is playing with a lot of his peers out there in Simmons and Kurtz, but has been putting up impressive numbers, dishing the ball and scoring himself, doing a really nice job fitting into that number 1 role.
For more on this game, we welcome in the third member of our crew. Here's Ashley Miller on the floor. his paraphernalia.
Jamison making those 2 initial saves, that's something. Jamison making those 2 saves is something that coach is really excited to see.
Well, we found out that our audio has popped back in. We apologize for the difficulties, but we thank you for joining us. Dan Ball, Mitch Belisle, Ashley Miller with you here on a Saturday at MVP Arena. Knifing to the cage and shooting there was Ty Kurtz, and a save made by Damu. No goals through nearly 3 minutes of action as the Firewolves are 2-8, while Philadelphia is 5-5. They're now on the right side of things in the playoff picture entering play today, and they're on the board first with a goal just off of transition.
Phil Caputo, I don't know where he put that one. He caught that through a whole lot of pressure. I thought there was really good defense by the Firewolves, and Caputo somehow snuck that. I think it probably went just under Jamison's arm. We'll see here. He just passes it down, and it's a little slip pick as he bats down the defender's hands. I think that was Kazchuk's hands. He kind of knocks him down, flashes that stick, and what a feed. And that is just a lot of trust to throw that in by Resetarits, and knowing Caputo can handle it.
Well, this offensive unit for Philadelphia has been put together via a few different ways. They had 6 players that were on Panther City's roster a season ago. By hook or by crook, they ended up in Philly. Then, of course, you add in Brendan O'Neill, who we mentioned off the top, the #1 overall pick in last year's NLL draft. And a pick that Philadelphia acquired by way of Colorado through New York for Glenn Clark's son, Taggart Clark, at the deadline. Colorado, with their injuries and things of that nature, ended up receiving what would have been the first overall pick, and that's how Philadelphia got McNeil. The whistle will blow, shot clock hits 0, and Albany will take it back the other way. Led by Zach Masson. Masson for the trailer. It's Piatelli, and he scores! John Piatelli in transition on the feed from Masson. A physical play, but he's able to fight through, and we're even at 1.
Great transition right there. We talked about how Brendan O'Neill went to the wings. He's a physical specimen. He just drove an Albany defender down. They get the ball back. They push down on a beautiful 3-on-2, and then John Piatelli, he paid the price for that one. He took the shot, found the spot just underneath Damude's glove, and you could tell he felt all that one as he absorbed a big body check.
Goal number 8 for John Piatelli this season. He checks back in on offense. Carson Moyer, left-handed member of the offense for the Firewolves, checks out. The 2 scratches, Moyer and Nicholas Volkov, and one other roster change to note. Jackson Nishimura activated for Albany. A key member of their defense back in the lineup, Ben McDonald, moves to the practice squad here today.
Nishimura brings a lot of speed and transition to a team that really thrived on that transition last year on their run to the championship.
And ever so slightly, Albany returns to health on the back end. They're still missing John Wagner, and then they only saw Callum Crawford for 1 game. Those 2 are still hurt, but Colton Watkinson back last week, Jackson Nishimura back this week. Near side, Holden Katoni. Up top, over the top goes Joe Resetarits, but his stick was interrupted as he shot, and Albany will take over.
Yeah, that is Colton Watkinson getting back to full form right there. You see how he shoots out over that pick, gets in the stick, even though there was space for a brief moment. That Watkinson's size, how much room he takes up defensively, that's what he can bring to this Firewolves defense.
Stutter step from Ethan Walker, another to the middle he goes, and a save made by Damude. Rebound will take a backspin bounce back on the netminder for the Wings, but he's able to make save number 2. Here is McCannell shooting, and a save made by Jamison with the leg pad.
McCannell had 2 goals in transition last week, so no stranger to pushing the ball.
The name of the game for Philadelphia, high event lacrosse. They score 13.4 goals per game. They give up 13.3. As that one is handled by Damu, fresh 30 for Albany.
You bring up the number of goals against. We talked to Coach Rubel before the game about how many shots. They give up a high volume of shots, and he said, I actually don't mind giving up a lot of shots if they're coming from the right spot, and there's the right spot for Ty Kurtz.
Kurtz finds the back of the net, and Albany has their first lead of the evening. It's 2-1.
Well, I guess that if your Coach Rubel is not the right spot because there was just too much room. You can see the Philadelphia defender turned to take Simmons, and then there was just so much room. Kurtz was able to take an extra step, evaluate, look again at what was open, and then bounces that one just low. That's two that have beaten Damu to that same side, just under that left glove. So that might be something they saw on the scouting report this week.
Goal number 20 on the campaign for Ty Kurtz. He and Alex Simmons in their sophomore seasons once again pacing the offense for Albany. Top two in goals. Right in the middle of the point discussion, as well as Patton is stripped by Tchaikovsky and Johansson as the two collapse on top of him.
That's an area where you're going to see this Firewolves team be. They're going to be all over.
For 11, this is home game number 6. They are 2-8. Shot from the near side is handled by Jamison. We apologize for the ongoing audio difficulties that we're experiencing on the broadcast. Hope to get that sorted out real soon. In the meantime, you can watch some great lacrosse and hear what you can hear. Near side, a sharp shot there is handled by Damoud with the stick. He holds it up with one hand to show, hey, I found that ball. 3 goals in the opening few moments, 2 for the home team. An early lead for the Albany Firewolves. Back to MVP Arena right after this.
This is your life without Eero.
Oh, come on.
The Wi-Fi's out again!
This is the worst.
Not now.
And this is your life with Eero.
Oh, come on.
Why would you do this to us?
This is the worst.
We can't improve everything in your life, but we can improve your Wi-Fi. It's fast, reliable, and now available outside your home. Eero, the way Wi-Fi should be.
Back in Albany, 2-1 Firewolves leading the Philadelphia Wings. Appreciate you joining us both nationally on ESPN+, TSN, and our local affiliates as well. Glenn Clark, head coach of the Albany Firewolves and general manager, last year's GM and coach of the year. Something we'll touch on later on in the broadcast. Ashley has been all over this week as the Firewolves made a coaching arrangement change, let's just say, to try to fire up the group and, well, mix up the mix a little bit, and this is certainly the time to do it as O'Neal quickly through the offensive end it went, but Jones was unable to corral, and Albany successful on defense.
We'll get more into it, but part of that change was a little bit more of an aggressive defensive stance by the Firewolves, and you can see that already. They're pressuring the Wings offensive players down to the corners, and you can see the Wings just seem all out of sorts in their settled 5v5.
Sent right in front, they score! Ty Kurtz has a pair in the early going, and Albany doubles their lead.
Kurtz from a Simmons shovel shot pass. Heard that one before, Dan? What a beautiful take here. You can see Simmons, he drives so hard to the net, and then just that little backhand flip across to Kurtz. These two have been doing this, not for a long time, but for a good time. 2 years in a row, they've really perfected this, and that two-man attack down that left wing, just a thing of perfection right there.
Second of the game and 21st of the season. Ty Kurtz came in with just one multi-goal game in his last 5. He had scored in all of those games, but hadn't been able to turn it into a crooked number. That changes in the early going here in the Capital Region. Faceoffs continue to be a factor here for Albany as their offense is right back on the floor, and shooting there is Kurtz, bidding for the early hat trick, and a save made, but John Piatelli finds the loose ball.
Yeah, those resets are huge. Being able to get a tired defense to have to defend another set, and also getting a fresh 30 for your offense to continue to work together is huge early in these games.
Simmons knifes his way down the floor on the right side. Simmons, a lot of movement as he finds Sam Firth, a save made, and the rebound controlled by Simmons. It did not get on net, so the shot clock will hit 0.
Wouldn't like to see the ball swing side to side. It kind of stayed in Simmons' hands for a little too long there. This Firewolves offense has the most success when the ball transfers from the left to the right quickly.
Jones is defended there as Zach Young took him. Shot from the far side, save made, and the rebound is controlled by Mike Byrne. And if you get Glenn Clark talking about Mike Byrne, Mitch Belisle, he's going to talk for a while.
And it's all positive things. The way he was so effusive in his praise of the kind of person that Mike Byrne is, and then the kind of player and work ethic he has. He said if there's any player that a young player should aspire to be, it's a guy like Mike Byrne. He worked so hard. He earned everything. He was undrafted, earned his way onto the roster, earned his way to be a day-to-day guy, and still never expects it. Every day he's checking the lineup, making sure he's in it, because that's just the ethos he comes to the rink with every time, that he's got to earn his spot.
Gone from a practice player in New England, as Mitch mentioned, all the way to a guy who the Firewolves trust in all situations on defense. Fired from out high, blocked by Nishimura, who makes his presence known. And the Firewolves will run in transition. Nishimura hits the brakes. Johansson to the front he goes, but collision off ball will lead to a change in possession and a timeout on the floor. Ty Kurtz wears number 2, and he has 2. Firewolves up 2 mid-first quarter.
Seconds. Welcome back to MVP Arena. It's Albany with a 3-1 lead early on, joined by head coach Glenn Clark. Coach, you made a switch at offensive and defensive coordinators. Clem joked that it would be fun if the ball went in the net. So far, so good. Have you liked what you've seen on both sides?
I have. I've liked the overall energy and pace we're playing with, and yeah, it's some fresh voices on back end. There's ways you can shake things up a little bit, and this was an easy transition for us, guys with a good skill set on both ends of the bench. So far, so good.
It seems like Dougie's seeing the ball really well. Is that a product of the defense?
Yeah, we've tried to put him in different spots and give him a little bit more of a break, and as opposed to those shots coming across the top. So far, so good.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Doug Jamieson heard the conversation happening between Ashley and Coach Clark and decided to add another to his tally. It's been a bit of a perplexing run for Jamieson. Out of his last 5 games played, he's only played the full 60 minutes once. And the Firewolves have had to go to Andrew Kidd in all of those games in varying capacities, as Kurtz finds the trailing Ethan Walker and a save made by the Wings netminder Nick Damuth.
Doug Jamieson he hasn't looked like himself, and where he really struggles is when the ball is swinging across the middle. And tonight you can see the Firewolves defense is really focused on pushing shooters down the wings and down the alleys, and this has really challenged the Wings. They have not been able to find their rhythm, as we see Rezateris just throws that one away.
Philly is a bit out of sorts. NLL Plus is here and free. The league's new streaming service offers fans around the world access to live games, full game replays, highlights, and exclusive content. Sign up today at NLL.com/plus. Two quick trips down the floor for both offenses. Philadelphia looking to generate in transition. And that was something that came up in our conversation this week that we can get to in a moment, is the balance for Philadelphia between getting into their defensive set and then trying to push the pace in transition, as that one was blocked in front of Doug Jamieson.
Yeah, as any good head coach that played defense will probably tell you, I would rather play defense first and then see what comes out of transition. But most importantly, take away the threats.
Now, Mitch, when I go to your player card on the NLL website, what position does that say?
Oh, that's a big old D on there. No offense whatsoever.
Williams tried to one-hand that loose ball back into the offensive end, but no dice. Despite the early season inconsistencies for Doug Jamieson, he is still near the tops of the league in terms of saves made. So is Nick Damoud, as you mentioned, Mitch. Philadelphia gives up a lot in terms of shot volume. Here is Kazchuk, centers a pass in front, and a save made by Damoud. Rebound scooped up by Kazchuk, but ruled that there was contact potentially in the crease, so Philadelphia gets possession back.
Yeah, and Kazchuk gave that to Nishimura just so late. Nishimura tried to one time, it was a great handle and shot, but he just had no room, and Damoud kind of waited him out. Did a nice job of getting from one post to the other.
Off the far side wall went Resiteritz, but another passing lane that was disrupted by the pressure from Albany. Still jumping up in the air before it is settled and calmed down by the Firewolves captain, Colton Watkinson.
I'll say this, Dan. They've been doing a great job of pressuring the ball. There have been wide open wings on the inside. They just haven't been able to find the ball. That's something the Firewolves are going to have to make sure they match up on those inside players, because right now the wings haven't been able to find them, but if they do, those are great shots.
Simmons turns and shoots from his own right, and that one's handled by Damoud, who comes into the season in 10 games, 5-5 record, a 1292 goals against average, a save percentage clicking at 78%. Doug Jamieson right around those same totals, 1226 goals against, and a 78% save percentage as well. Petoni off the near wall, shoots, kick save made by Jamieson, and the rebound loose for Johansson.
Jamieson really settling in and feeling comfortable with where these shots are coming from. That's part of why they shifted Daryl Gibson to the defensive side as they were implementing this pressure-based defense.
Shooting from the far side there, that one clanked off the back wall. Dodging there is Williams, but his stick got disrupted as he was looking to shoot again. And that will allow Philadelphia to escape and push the pace. Looking for a trailer, but good pressure coming from Johansson there on Caputo. He finds it again and shoots, save Jamieson, and he pins it against his left leg in order to make the save and hang on.
There's about an 11-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock here in this first quarter, so they're going to let this thing run down, maybe get the last shot and then get back and take away any transition. So this is where that IQ comes in. Will they recognize, will the Firewolves offense recognize they got to have one player start cheating back towards the end of this shot clock?
Simmons shoots, put it high. Rebound corralled by Philadelphia with 15 seconds left, and Philly will take their timeout with 14.4 seconds left in the first. And they'll pull out the grease board and figure out one last play. So when you get this opportunity, 15 seconds left on the clock, we'll talk more about that in a moment and what Philadelphia could be drawing up. In the meantime, the Firewolves are drawing up some coaching changes of their own. With more on that, here's Ashley.
Yeah, guys, Glenn Clark made the decision this week to switch the offensive and defensive coordinators. So this week, longtime O coordinator Daryl Gibson is now on the defensive end, and I asked him about it, and he said, you know what, I've played defense. I played defense for 12 years in the NLL. That's all I've ever known. I just haven't coached it at this level. So it's kind of like riding a bike, and it was this defense that they've now switched to was initiated like 20 years ago in Buffalo, and it's basically what every other team in the league plays. Like Mitch said, it's a pressure defense, and they try to cut the field in half and get those guys turned down into the corner, which is very different than the defense that they've played from here up until this point, guys.
Ashley, thank you. It was a fascinating story for Daryl Gibson. His coaching in the junior level, when he first took a coaching job in the junior level, it was at the O coordinator position and ended up being hired in New England under Glenn Clark in 2018, and it just kind of stuck. Meanwhile, here's Philadelphia with the net empty, 6-on-5. Jones shoots, save made, rebound, and that one would not go. And the clock will hit triple zeros, some pushing and shoving right in Jamison's crease at the end of that first quarter. Well, the Firewolves coming off of a game where they had 66 penalty minutes, and now they're gonna go.
Pushing and the shoving has escalated, Dan, into punching and grabbing.
That's Tchaikovsky of Albany on the bottom of the pile. And now more shoving happening. Is Kazchuk getting involved? He was involved in the physicality last week with Brent Noseworthy. Meanwhile, it was Phil Caputo who was on the Philadelphia side, and our officials, led by crew chief Chris Williams, will sort out some of the laundry. And I can tell you that the conversations are not quite done. Blaze Reardon and Colton Watkinson saying, hi, how are you? All right, we'll sort some of this out during our commercial break and be back with second quarter action in just a few moments. Albany leading by a pair, 2 goals from their second-year player, Ty Kurtz, has the Firewolves in the lead after 1. Back in Albany, 3-1 Firewolves leading the Wings. We had some fisticuffs in a certain sense right at the end of the first quarter. Let's take a look at what happened right as the clock hit 0.
Yeah, this was a drawn-up play for the Wings as they had the 6-on-5 and their goalie pulled. And Phil Caputo just went in up for the rebound at the last second. The Firewolves took exception to him being so close to their goalie, Doug Jamison, and kind of just seemed like they were they're just talking, and then all of a sudden, Caputo says, all right, let's do this. And they get it. But they're just going to call that a rough. It wasn't a true fight. They just grabbed each other. So we've got 2 minutes for Tchaikovsky, 2 minutes for Phil Caputo. They'll think about what they've done and rejoin the game here at the 13-minute mark. After the first whistle.
There is Phil Caputo, who is mid-think, I guess you would say. Nick Tchaikovsky, the other representative. So matching manpower for the next 2 minutes as the coincidental minors 2 each for roughing in quick count of the manpower. We will play 4-on-4 during that time, as
The new this year, instead of canceling each other out, they go to the 4-on-4. It's a little bit more exciting lacrosse there. You spread the floor out, you get more opportunities. Typically you'll see 2 righties, 2 lefties, so you get that 2-man game on both sides. It really opens things up.
and that's something that's certainly a welcome sight for Philadelphia's offense, is they just haven't quite been able to click and move the ball efficiently. They'll have to wait for a few as Albany's offense is on the floor. Simmons shoots, and a save by Damoud. He came out right to the top of the crease to cut down that shooting angle. Outlet feed, still rolling and bumbling and stumbling along the floor. Sam Firth takes it away, and we have an injury that happened
Liam
right
Patton.
as the ball was landing in that corner.
Yeah, that's, you don't like seeing that. No one touched him. That was a non-contact injury. He was running. He kind of avoided one checker and then might have just gone awkwardly on his ankle or his knee, but he took a weird spill there. You can see he avoided Simmons here, and then on his next step, he just kind of pulled up lame. So hopefully he's okay, and it's just a tweaked muscle as he's limping off with some help, but good to see that he's at least putting pressure on both legs. And Liam Patton, he is probably one of their best defensive players. He's done a really nice job. He leads their team both in cross turnovers and block shots. So if he's not able to return, that's going to be a big detriment to this defense. It's already shown a little bit of struggles.
Another one of those players coming in from Panther City. Outlet feed looking for another one of Philadelphia's top defenders. That's Alex Pace. But the quarterback and wide receiver connection wasn't quite there, as we're just past a minute gone by in our second quarter. Dan Ball, Mitch Belisle, we have Ashley Miller on the floor. Thanks for being with us. We're on the broadcast on this Saturday evening, chilly Saturday evening in the Capital Region.
Alex Pace, the pride of Nova Scotia.
So this weather is nothing for him.
Nothing for him. He got to play in front of friends and family last week in Halifax. Though he wasn't on the right end, I'm sure he got a lot of hugs and support.
Damoud able to handle another outlet feed, and another one that's not quite on target, but it's tracked down by Nathan Fair. Under 10 seconds remaining on our 4-on-4. Near side, Resiteritz, who's been quiet so far, goes for the 5-hole, and it's stopped by Jamison. NLL Box Out with Mackey and Coop. It's the league's new podcast. Your home for player interviews, expert analysis, and all things NLL. Twice a week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, as well as YouTube.
Alex Simmons just tattooed the crossbar there. That bent the net back a few inches. There's a little bit of transition, almost like a slow transition. He comes off the bench, nice off-ball picks. They swing it over, and he rattled the
Center and pass looking there for Kurt. Simmons 2 assists today, hasn't scored yet. Here's Williams, and that one would not go. And the rebound is picked up off the end wall by Philadelphia.
Nice save there by Damoud as Williams is coming around completely wide open.
Near side, Resiteritz. One of the best American-born lacrosse players to ever do it, as that pass gets deflected through the middle. Collected off the end wall, shot clock down to 3, one last chance, Resiteritz, and a save made by Jamison. He was equal to that shot. Speaking of shots, Alex Simmons had one that rang iron a few moments ago.
You can see he tries to change his planes, he drops his hands low and then comes back over the top. He had Damoud down, but just didn't get it low enough under the bar.
Firth will shoot, and a save made, and the rebound had backspin on it. It went forward as it landed in the crease and back in a Philadelphia positive direction. Goodness gracious, Albany bidding for goal number 4 as the scoring has gone a bit quiet on both sides here in the second quarter. Physical play, forcing play behind the net. Another chance for Resiteritz, and a save by Jamison. Rebound loose along the floor, and Philadelphia will get a shot clock reset and a good battle for that loose ball. Phil Caputo, as we're back to 5-on-5, could not catch that pass.
So that is how you beat this pressure defense. There's two ways. One, you slip as all. Pause for the breakaway.
Here's Kazchuk, score! Patrick Kazchuk in transition. Philadelphia unable to make the pass in the offensive end, and Albany delivers to go up 3.
Phil Caputo had a beautiful slip. He faked the pick and rolled inside. A nice feed there, but unable to connect. The ball rolls up to the Firewolves. They push the pace, and then a nice play at the boards to bang that one loose. Kazchuk rewards himself for all his hard work with a nice bouncer between the 5-hole.
Second game in a row with a goal for Patrick Kazchuk. That's his 5th of the season overall. The third-year player, first-round pick back in 2021. And on this Albany team, third-year player is a veteran by the standard of others. Kazchuk led Albany in loose balls collected as a rookie. Had just 1 goal, jumped up his scoring in year 2. Quick stick looking there for Williams on a nice feed from Kurtz. That one was handled by Damude, and Philadelphia will find the rebound.
I don't know what Dyson Williams said to Nick Damude, but Damude has seemed to have 51's number. That was dead to right's wide open net, and a beautiful flash of the hands by Damude to make the save.
Terrence found his man. He was looking towards Sam LeClaire, who checks back in the lineup. Michael Sowers checks out. Sowers, the former New England Black Wolves draft pick, who was moved before the season to Philadelphia. He's a Philadelphia resident, and scheduling-wise, the deal was able to be worked out between the two sides. Conditional draft pick exchange. Another save made by Damude, as he was able to handle the shot from the right side of the floor on offense. Just 1 goal here in our second quarter of action. It belongs to the home team, Albany, with their biggest lead of the evening so far. Patrick Kazchuk made it 4-1. Back in a moment.
We're here to sweat the details, to test and retest. Because when you're known for speed and reliability inside, you need to deliver speed and reliability outside, in all kinds of weather, all year round. Because if it can handle all of this, it can definitely handle this. Introducing Eero Outdoor 7. Eero, the way Wi-Fi should be.
Welcome back to MVP Arena. It is Albany with a 4-1 lead over Philadelphia, joined by head coach Ian Rubel. Coach, we talked about your offense kind of trying to get in sync. What has Albany been able to do to make things a little bit scattered for you guys?
I think it's more what we're doing. We're kind of sloppy with the ball right now. We're not very precise in our timing, and we need to correct that.
You talked about transition and being better in transition against. Was that goal an example of just the sloppiness on offense leading to that?
Not really. I mean, that one was a bit off. We just got caught in our numbers game, but yeah, we'll correct that.
Thanks, Coach.
No problem.
Guys.
Ashley, thank you. Some very direct answers from Ian Rubel about the execution on offense for his group so far. They've been held uncharacteristically quiet, and when they haven't, and they've gotten chances like that, Doug Jamison Mitch has found his game through a quarter plus.
Yeah, he's certainly looked good, and he's seeing shots from where he wants to, not sweeping across, not off of swings. So that's something I'd really like to see the Wings try to work on, is getting those sweeps. Brendan O'Neill, he's 215 pounds. He can beat his man one-on-one. He needs to take it across and shoot like he did when he was at Duke.
Albany on a 4-0 scoring run after ceding the first goal of the game. Kurtz exchanges with Simmons, who hitches and shoots, and a save made. He was going for that top corner. Same corner that he rang a few moments earlier, but this time the goaltender meets him there. Shots right now 21-17 in favor of Albany. They've won 5 of 7 faceoffs. And they've collected 26 loose balls to 14 for Philadelphia. Sent in front, and that one never got on Jamison. And Johansson's able to scoop up the rebounds.
Dan, that was another great example of that slip pick, that up pick from Phil Caputo, and then slipping to the inside. That time they were able to find him, but he just couldn't get enough on it as the Firewolves continue to get sticks in shooting lanes, and now the Firewolves are going to go on the penalty kill.
Believe it's going to be for an illegal substitution. Let's listen in.
Albany, minor penalty, 2 minutes slashing.
Oh, pardon me, that was Tchaikovsky who was coming off the bench versus the in-home player, so slashing will be the call. Happened in transition, and the Firewolves' alternate captain will sit for 2. Third penalty overall, but first power play on either side, and Philadelphia's is the best in the league entering play, 20 of 35. They battle a penalty kill for Albany that's clicking at just under 50%, and that one is handled by Jamison with the right arm.
One thing I talked to Coach Rubel about is how exacting Tracy Koluski, their offensive coordinator, is. I watched him year after year put in power plays, and the way he just makes sure, it's like he'll tell a guy set a pick here, and if the guy doesn't set it within 2 inches of where he's showing him, he'll move his feet and say, no, 2 more inches that way, and that's why they're so successful, because he has that precision.
Philadelphia, as you can see, was able to collapse the Firewolves' man-down unit. Outlet feed, bringing him in, and taken down there was Kurtz. Philadelphia will get possession after that collision. There is the triad of Philadelphia Wings coaches. Changes made as Paul Day moved upstairs, so to speak, to take over, or to remain general manager. Ian Rubel, who was the defensive coordinator in Philadelphia since Lacrosse returned to Philly in 2018. And the power play clicks just over 1 minute in. Ball movement leads to a chance right on the far post and a goal, and it's 4-2.
And that was beautiful execution on that power play. Blaze Reardon went and set a pick on the wrong side of the floor, his offhand side. They do a nice job of coming around that. You can see, watch Blaze Reardon. He's creating all kinds of havoc in the inside. That opens things up for Holden Catoni to slide down the backside, and a beautiful feed there for Reza Territz. Gets it across, and that's an easy dunk there for Holden Catoni, who's used to shooting from the outside. This time, just a nice little dunk.
Goal number 21 for Holden Catoni on the season, third power play goal. Came in with 14 goals and 23 total points in 4 games against this iteration of the franchise, the Albany Firewolves. Physical battle off the faceoff, but it's controlled by Albany. We have an extra helmet on the floor as well. That belonged to the visitors. Ends up being of no consequence, as moving up and down there is Kurtz, and he scores! Ty Kurtz completes the hat trick. And Albany responds to the power play strike from Philadelphia to retake their 3-goal lead.
Ty Kurtz caught the ball on the shorthanded break, had a 1-on-0, got too close to the goalie this time. He says, I'll do it from the outside. He sees something he likes and just shoots right around a defender through traffic. And that is one that Damian probably never saw. It came right off the backside of Tyler Burton. So he never got a chance to see or make a read on it.
Third time this season that Ty Kurtz has reached the 3-goal plateau. Had a hat trick against Calgary and then 7 in a road game against Colorado. That was quite the game at Ball Arena earlier on in the season.
And that's 7. He got that 7 early. He had a chance for 8 or 9 in that game.
Colorado went on a late run, third and fourth quarter in that one to pick up the victory in front of the home fans. Centering passes, Kurtz was looking for his 4th. This time around, Damoud with the answer, and Philadelphia will take it over the timeline.
I really like their looks when they get the ball behind the net. They've found open cutters every time. Just haven't been able to get it past Damoud on those cuts.
5-2 Albany, mid-second quarter here at MVP Arena. Philadelphia's offense has managed just 1 goal at even strength. Resiteris' shot was handled by Jamison, but a fresh 30 with which to work.
It just feels like Brendan O'Neill just hasn't quite been able to establish his dominance quite yet. So Mitch Jones just steps in untouched there. I don't know how no one picked him up and why he didn't take it further.
Dunk try there, and that one wouldn't go as Jamison went into the T motion to protect the crossbar. So some good looks from Philadelphia their last trip down the floor. They got a shot clock reset, a couple of chances there for Jones, an open look, but no dice, and it remains a 3-goal deficit. Pitching there is Simmons. Stepping is Piatelli, and he scores! Second goal of the contest for John Piatelli on the feed from Alex Simmons. And Albany's lead is up to 4 here in the second quarter.
Welcome back to the lineup, number 41. Some fans in the stands with the 4-1 shaking it. Just a beautiful swing from side to side into a 2-man game. And Piatelli, he finds the open space. That's a top step you dream about. He fakes the shot, continues his momentum to the middle, and then shoots it right over his defender, or just outside his defender's hip. That's the second shot in a row that's come right off a defender's hip that Damoud has to handle. And gotta say, Dan, this is a major area of concern for the Wings. They cannot seem to pick the ball up off the turf.
And it leads to a lot of shifts in a row for a defensive unit that can only withstand so much when the offense is out that much. Quick stick there from Kurtz, save made, and the rebound is a souvenir in the Pauly Walnut zone, no less. That's a good spot for it to land. 6-2 Albany, Firewolves on a run on offense. Back in a moment.
Welcome back to MVP Arena. You're looking at Clem DeRazio, formerly the defensive coordinator. Well, this week he's the offensive coordinator. They made the switch, and he said, you know what, I coached a little bit of O with my school program and in minor lacrosse junior A's, but that was 3 to 4 years ago. I've never truly coached the offense in the NLL. Well, there's a first time for everything, guys. He said there were a little bit of jitters. It's almost like you're auditioning for a new role. It's your first day in the NLL. Things have been good so far. He said this could be a lot of fun if they score goals. Well, the offense has 6 goals with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in the second quarter and a 6-2 lead over Philadelphia.
Ashley, thank you. It was interesting to hear from both coordinators before the game and hear the fact that it seemed like both position groups were excited and intrigued by the changes at hand, and both coordinators were quick to go to work, implement changes in both stylistics and mindset, and really kind of put their footprint on their respective sides of the floor right off the bat. And so far, through a quarter plus, it's paid dividends for the entire staff, Glenn Clark included.
The thing that really stands out to me is how well this Firewolves team is shooting the ball. This is a team that was shooting less than 15% coming into the game. Notwithstanding that last shot right there, they were up to 25% clip on 6 goals on 24 shots before that last one. So really, I don't know if Clem just said put it on net and see what happens or what, but certainly has got them finding the area between the pipes.
That was a nice play a few moments ago by Travis Longboat with one hand on the stick to find the loose ball and get a rebound. Shot clock down to 3. Walker dodges to the cage, and he scores! Ethan Walker with 1 second on the shot clock. Absorbed the hit and made the play to score goal number 7 for the home squad.
Walker wanted to feed that across. He was looking to feed it, and I think that look across froze his defender. He recognized, I gotta go now, there's nothing else to do. He goes underneath and makes a beautiful play. You see he's shopping, nothing here. All right, I'll take it under, and underneath he goes, and he gets the goal there. Taking it underneath Connor Sellers there, who doesn't have help underneath, which is one of the areas you cannot get beat if there's no one underneath to help you.
Firewolves control another draw, and Byrne was able to tiptoe his way across the center line to avoid a change in possession. 4th goal scorer of the evening for Albany. Ty Kurtz has 3, John Piatelli has 2, Ethan Walker, Patrick Kazchuk with 1 each. Daboud made the first save. Didn't know where that rebound went. He looked behind him as the ball was going the other way, but he'll take what he can get. Quickly in transition, that pass was blocked, and Jamison will handle with the stick, and the defense will trudge back onto the floor for Philadelphia.
Yeah, and this is a defense that's got to be tired. They've been out there for a while. They may be without Patton. I haven't seen him back out there.
Dyson Williams looking to crack the code that is Nick Damoud to this point. Shot from the far side from Simmons, handled, but the rebound is corralled by Kurtz.
Smart play by Kurtz to run that away from pressure. You got a full 30 now, a tired defense that's only more tired on the reset.
Walker again, up top, popping out there was Simmons. The first save was made, and Simmons had the rebound, lost the rebound. The other way in transition comes Philadelphia. Looking over his shoulder for some help was Tyler Burton. But again, the defense, the long change in the second quarter, no less. So that journey gets longer and longer each time it has to occur. Turning the corner and firing there was Holden Catoni, and a save made by Jamison. The NLL is now on the ESPN app. Download the app or visit ESPN.com for the latest news, schedule, and scores. Our score 7-2, Albany in front and in possession as we click towards 90 seconds to go in the second quarter. And that chance, as Piatelli was bidding for his own hat trick, is handled.
That last shift for Philadelphia offensively, Holden Catoni drove across the middle. I like the concept. I think he could have shot that earlier, but this is something I'd like to see Brendan O'Neill take his man one-on-one from that low wing and see what he can get.
Cutting to the cage, and that one, I believe, hit off the iron as Jones put everything he had in trying to take the offense onto his own shoulders.
And Mitch Jones with a swim move, gets underneath there, and Dougie Jameson gave a little pat to the pipe there.
Goaltender's best friend in situations like that. Another chance, and this time Jameson will do his own dirty work and make the save. Coming up on the NLL Halftime Report, Ashley talks to the star of the first half, plus the latest edition of NLL Tic-Tac-Toe, and first half analysis of this one, all coming up at the half. Williams. Across the floor it goes, save made, rebound, and another save is made by the Philadelphia netminder, who will make 2 saves and sprint to the bench for his troubles with under 30 to go in the first half. Slight difference between shot clock and game clock in that the shot clock is on, but
negligible.
Still essentially the last possession here of our first half, and it belongs to Philly, who goes 6 on 5. Resetarits tried to send it back to the middle. That pass got blocked, and the clock will hit 000 here at MVP Arena. And Mitch, this is an effort that Glenn Clark and company will certainly like. Their group up by 5 as we've reached the end of the first half. Shots on goal, 31-25 in favor of Albany. And in just a few moments, Ashley will talk to our star of the first half, and this time around it is from the home squad.
Well, if these coaches were trying out for their roles, On the Firewolves side, I'd say they did a pretty good job holding to 2 goals defensively for Daryl Gibson's defense.
First audition, certainly a success. Here's Ashley with Ty Kurtz.
Ty, 3 goals for you. How would you judge just kind of the energy brought with maybe the change in coaching this week with Clement?
Yeah, it's awesome. You know, we're motivated, right? We just want to play fast and play our game. Our defense playing a hell of a half there, and we know they're going to keep it up. Best defense in the world, best goalie in the world.
You guys are shooting a better percentage. I think you were 15% on the season. What have you done better this game to see better shots?
Just keeping our feet moving, playing fast, using the swings. We're getting a little stagnant before, but we're trying to speed the ball up and speed our feet up.
Thanks, Ty.
Thank you.
Ashley, thank you. We're at the half here at MVP Arena on Alfie's birthday. As a group of mascots run their way onto the floor, we will step aside. Philadelphia had the first goal of the first half, but Albany scored 7 of the next 8. They hold a 5-goal advantage at the half.
Ross is proud to be the first foundation partner of NLL Unbox, the new grassroots initiative bringing the NLL's fun, fast-paced games to more communities across North America. From complete sticks for young boys and girls to a comprehensive line of heads, handles, and buckets for experienced players, Powell Lacrosse is home to the next generation of lacrosse players. Find your new gear at powelllacrosse.com.
Welcome back to MVP Arena in Albany, New York. It's halftime between the Wings and the Firewolves. Welcome back to MVP Arena in Albany, New York. It's halftime between the Wings and the Firewolves. Now, who says goalies aren't sharpshooters? In this showdown, the Toronto Rock's Nick Rose faces off against the Rochester Nighthawks' Rylan Hartley in a game of lacrosse tic-tac-toe, brought to you by Eero. Who's going to pick the corners and build a connection? Let's find out.
I made his head bad already. I'm Nick Rose, goaltender for the Toronto Rock.
I'm Rylan Hartley, goaltender for the Rochester Nighthawks.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Like rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're going here.
The head games have already begun.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
No way I was choosing rock.
Is going first even a good thing? I don't know. Just behind the dotted here?
Yeah, that's strict rule.
Get the brooms out, Rosie. Here we go.
I might just run the table here.
Top middle?
Top middle.
This is usually my spot anyways.
Far down. Let's see it.
Oh. Oh. Oh! What a shot. That net has never looked bigger than it does right now. Oh.
Oh!
Oh.
We stink right now.
Yeah.
I tell you what though, after some of these heaters, I wouldn't want to be in net.
Oh.
They don't gotta be pretty.
5, 4.
Oh.
This might be the first and the last time to do it for goalies.
Yeah. Yes, finally. I gotta finish this one here quick now. I've been all over that top corner.
That's home floor advantage to start, and these guys are helping you.
You had a few free rounds. Go ahead.
I'm sweating like I'm holding back a big secret.
Oh!
What about me?
Heads up. Oh! Yes. Oh! Yes! It's over.
Well done, Nicholas.
Hey, great game, man.
The best man
It's always a pleasure competing against you.
I was hoping we'd bring back out the helium tank somewhere.
Yeah.
After these messages, Mitch and I will break down the first half of play. You're watching the NLL on ESPN+.
Somebody went against G.I. Johnny Little Dutch in the back. He's just bopping along like it's his job. And that shot sails wide over to the Philadelphia bench. Albany Power recovers. The Stewart's cow apparently tripped over its own feet, but we're not going to hold that against him. And if anybody has seen Back Night Pride, can you please send him to the field? Wolfie along the far side, taking it, trying to get control of the loose ball. It comes back with Albany Power. Wait a minute. How are you going to check the goalie? Oh, there you go. That's what we in the business call a receipt. Somebody want to check out Spike? Okay, Spike is back up and it's okay. There's the old saying with youth sports. If you don't know where the play is, just follow the group. And that's a goal for Albany Power Lacrosse. We're not doing another face-off. The cow has it, and he's off and running. Trying to convince people to eat more chicken. Thank you to Chick-fil-A. Y'all are not going to knock down a 7-foot cow. And southpaw with a shot just wide. Who's here to see the mascots? And the mascots just score. Remember, we're not doing a face-off. Behind the back, and what a save by who? Goldie. So fans, what do you think so
Back
far?
here at MVP Arena on Alfie's birthday. It's kind of turning into Alfie's war zone down on the turf there in the Capital Region. The Albany Power lacrosse program against some of the various mascots from teams in the Capital Region and different mascots of sponsors, as the Chick-fil-A cow has been all over the physicality in this battle as an incredible halftime event comes to a close, and we welcome you back up into a very amused broadcast booth here at MVP Arena. Dan Ball and Mitch Belisle. We have Ashley Miller on the floor. And Mitch, the Firewolves made a change on the bench this week. They changed their coordinators, as we talked about during the first half. And as you kind of alluded to, the first audition for both coordinators has gone completely according to plan.
Yeah, they're doing a great job offensively of sharing the ball and capitalizing 5-on-5. I've really been impressed how many of their goals are settled 5-on-5, just continuing to put pressure on and then finding great shot opportunities. They pushed the pace in transition, then defensively, they completely locked it down.
And sometimes you need your best players to be at their best in situations like these, and that was the case for Ty Kurtz, forward for the Albany Firewolves, who was on fire in the first half.
Yeah, Ty Kurtz did a little bit of everything. He shot from the outside, he set big picks to create openings for his teammates, he used his defender as screens. We saw him come out of the box. He didn't score on that opportunity, but then went right back out and scored on the next one. Here we see him slip into the inside, working with his teammate Simmons, who he works so well with, and there's that retribution goal he scored. Just really doing a nice job of finding different ways to put the ball on the back of the net. And I think that the stat that really stands out to me is that loose ball number, 36 to 24, and a lot of those have ended up in the back of the Wings net.
It's ironic because the two areas that Ian Rubel told us about during our preview conversation with him were faceoffs and loose balls, and so far both of those categories have been in favor of the Firewolves through one half of lacrosse action. We're done with one half. Our second half is coming up in just a couple of moments. The Firewolves in need of a victory. They're halfway there, up 7-2 at the half here at MVP Arena.
They turned the lights off in the building. I went shot of fans and the lights went off. All right, promo 4 and then the week 13 schedules on the way back.
Fans, make some noise for your Saya Activewear Wolf Band Dance Team. For your chance to perform at halftime with members of our band. Register today for our next dance clinic coming up on March 22nd. And now, fans, let's zip it down to Back 9 Ride.
All right, Firewolves fans, it's time for a fan favorite. I'm here with Aiden, and it's time for Minute to Win It. Thanks to our friends at Recovery Sports Grill. And this is what's going to happen. You can take home this gift card right now, or you can choose to wing it. If the Albany Firewolves score in the first minute of the third quarter, you can go home with 3 wings for a year. But before I ask you, fans, what do you think Aiden should do? Aiden, what are you going to do? I think I'm going to wing it. Aiden's going to wing it. Let's see if the Albany Firewolves can score in the first minute of the third quarter.
Few moments away from the start of the second half, and the Firewolves dance crew, much like the fans here at MVP Arena, they're applauding their team up by a few. This is not the only game going on in the NLL. Week 13, we're at the half in Toronto. The Rocks starting to find their form now at 3-7. They have a 1-goal lead over Georgia. Georgia, one of those teams between 500 and 600 win percentages. 8 teams came into the weekend in that same group. A couple games already final, 2 games still left to go this evening. Calgary and Rochester at 9, San Diego and Buffalo coming up at 10. Head to the NLL.com fan zone to vote for the Connection of the Month presented by Eero. Today, one lucky winner will be selected to win a prize valued at $1,200. NLL Pick'em is the new way to get involved with weekly and monthly prizes. Everyone has a chance to win. Play today at the NLL fan zone. Back here at MVP Arena, Dan Ball, Mitch Belisle. We have Ashley Miller down on the floor. Pleasure to be with you here this evening. And Mitch, if you were a fly on the wall in the Philadelphia Wings dressing room at the half, what might that conversation sound like, and where might they be focusing on in the second half?
I think the biggest two areas they have to attack on the slips. When they recognize the double, slip to the inside and find those. And they've also got to do a good job of moving the ball from the left-handed shooters to the right-handed shooters and then re-attacking. You can see they've only scored 2 goals in the first half. That is not the offense that we've been so used to from Mitch Jones and Joe Resetarits. Mitch Jones, only 1 assist. He has scored 7 or more points in every game this season. He's been held to just 1 so far tonight.
The Wings on offense boast the league's 2 highest point scorers. Mitch Jones and Joe Resetarits both pacing the league to this point in the season. They get the first chance on offense. That takes a deflection and goes wide. Planks briefly off of the official and allows for the transition from Will Johansson. Johansson around Katoni, finding Kurtz, looking for a quick stick there on the back door. And having to change the angle there and get that chance was Albany, but they'll track down the loose ball with 10 seconds to go on the shot clock. Ty Kurtz, bottled up, will send it in the direction of the net. It went high, and the shot clock will hit 0. Point leaders in the National Lacrosse League. Dane Smith was outstanding as always, but still trailing the dynamic duo here in Philadelphia. Alex Simmons also top 10 in points, a place where he hovered around last season as well. But these two have been outstanding as changes were made around them on the offense, as we've talked about in parts, with additions from Panther City, and they score. Blaze Reardon blazes one past Doug Jamieson. And much like the first half, Philadelphia has the opening goal in the second half to cut it to a 4-goal game.
And that was a good example of finding someone on the opposite side of the floor. I think it was a little bit of a last-ditch effort there as the shot clock was winding down, but Joe Resetarits does a nice job of engaging his man. You see how Sam LeClaire rolls to the opposite side. That brings a lot of attention to give Resetarits some space. And then Blaze Reardon, the Great Dane, Albany alum, goaltender in field lacrosse, goal scorer in box lacrosse with 300 career points. Pretty impressive for a guy who's arguably the best goalie in the world when you go outside.
It's remarkable, and we had the same conversation this afternoon when he and Joe Resetarits were on the sideline at Tom and Mary Casey Stadium talking about you simply don't find a player in the lacrosse world, at least for my money, that can play 2 completely different positions. Offense and defense is one thing, but playing offense in the box game and goaltender in the field game and doing it at an elite level, 300 points and arguably the best goalie in the world, is pretty remarkable. As meanwhile, Nick Damu, the Philadelphia goaltender, makes the save, and the Wings will take it the other way.
Well, funny enough, there is another guy who did that. Wasn't quite as successful in the box game as Blaze has been, but played forward transition and then played goaltender. You know where he went to college? Albany as well. Brett Queener, Penn Yan native, did a little bit of goaltending and field playing in box.
Caputo was bottled up. He lost the ball and then his stick, as 2 Firewolves defenders converged on him right in front of Doug Jamieson, allowing for the carry from Simmons, who will stop and start again and shoot one that got blocked. Rebound loose right at the top of the crease, and it's scooped up by Nick Damu.
This Wings defense has looked a lot tighter, and they're getting in shooters' hands, and that's the difference so far in this period, is they've limited those Firewolves opportunities by just being right on the shooters instead of letting them shoot around the defender.
Damu up to 27 saves He's given up 7 so far today. Fired on Jamison, and a save made as Resiteris tried to turn the corner, and then Leclerc went crashing towards the net for that rebound. Jamison now up to 26 saves, and he's given up just 3. Something of note last week, Mitch, when you and I were here at MVP Arena, Doug Jamison was pulled in the first quarter. Same situation as what happened in Buffalo, but in Buffalo, the Firewolves rode with Andrew Kidd, their backup, for over 40 minutes, and he played pretty well. Rebound, loose for Kurtz, and he scores! Number 4 for number 2, and Albany's back up by 5.
Ty Kurtz picking up the garbage, going out with the hot pizza, like the pizza, what do they call that thing? The pizza stick that they slide into the oven. Watch here. Mitch's patented pizza sticks on sale now. Reaches, grabs it, and then does a nice job of waiting out Damude, and then rolls it low. He fakes high, and then rolls that one low as Damude comes up. Just a great job. Mitch's Pizza Sticks, $10.99.
Use promo code Mitch for 10% off of your order of something that has been around for centuries, yet seems to be brand new here today. Regardless, Albany scores number 8. And they get the ball back after a face-off draw control. Walker takes a stick up high. Hands off, and a shot by Firth, save made. And this time Philadelphia finds the rebound. Pushing the pace in transition. It is Pace who was pushing it in transition. Left for O'Neal, and he scores. Well, this time around, Mitch, Philadelphia is able to generate a chance in transition before Albany could get set on defense. And we've officially heard from this past year's #1 overall pick.
And that is the power that Brendan O'Neal can bring. He scored on 5 of his first 7 shots in the NLL, a position that they say Americans can struggle to adapt to the offensive game. Well, when you shoot the ball like that, pretty easy to adapt, as he absolutely blasts that one from the outside and puts everything he has into it, continuing leading the rookies from the front in the goals category.
16 coming in, make that 17 for Brendan O'Neal. For more on Brendan O'Neal, this past year's #1 overall pick, here's Ashley.
A lot of talk about those #1 overall picks. We had Dyson Williams, #1 overall in 2023 with the Firewolves, and then Brennan, 2024 was the #1 overall pick. Well, they played for the same college team, so I asked Brennan before the game what their relationship is like, and he said, you know what, when you play 4 years with someone and your line mates, he said, I spent a lot of my career feeding Dyson the ball. He said we were also friends off the field. Dyson can handle the ball in tight spaces and has off-the-charts accuracy, and Brendan said he's working to be like Dyson in that regard.
Thank you, Ashley. It is really cool to see the ongoing relationship between the two, as the past 2 years, first overall picks, both from Duke, the relationship goes back years, and I think it's only fitting, Mitch, as that one is handled by Jamison. He was looking behind him for the rebound, but it was in front of him, and it's only fitting that those two are within a couple of goals, a couple of points of each other in the rookie scoring race.
Yeah, it's amazing. What a cool story for them both to go #1. Obviously, Dyson Williams then goes back and does that 5th year, so they end up playing together, and then O'Neal goes #1 next year. But it is one of those positions where, because, and there it is, Dyson Williams answering the bell.
Whatever you can do, Brennan, I can do better, says Dyson Williams. Both #1 overall picks find the score sheet in rapid succession. And back and forth we go here in the second half. Now that is fitting.
Well, I was just going to say, you know, when you both play offense, you don't really see each other on the floor, but clearly he saw what O'Neal did on the other end and said, you know what, I can do something like that. A little nifty face tuck across his body, keeps it high to protect it, and then waits out Damude. As Damude comes up to try to stay high, he brings it low under the stick.
Well, the rookie scoring race tightens once again. This time around, Philadelphia finds possession off the faceoff. The lead for Albany yo-yoing between 4 and 5 tallies here in the second half. On a note for the Williams family, Dyson's sister Delana, who's a member of the UAlbany Great Danes women's team, they'll have their Tucker Out lymphoma game tomorrow afternoon against Stony Brook. And Philadelphia answers right back as both offenses, after a quiet few moments, are starting to find their form, and Mitch Jones is on the scoreboard on a nice individual effort.
Yeah, we mentioned Mitch Jones' 27th goal this season. He came in leading the league in points and has been relatively quiet. He just flashes to the far side, and he's on his wrong side. You can see his stick. Being a left-handed player, his stick is all the way on the far side. He twists it over his face. That's called a twister, and then reaches it back to the side he came from. Just a beautiful finish, showing why he is such a prolific scorer in this league.
Knocked backwards with authority there by Joe Nardella, and you know, it shows the meaning of the words that we got during the week from Ian Rubel. Face-off win for Philadelphia leads to a chance and a goal, so that possession works very quickly for the Wings. Meanwhile, Albany wins the subsequent draw and has possession back on offense. Walker looking back door there for Piatelli, and a nice save there by Damu to go from post to post.
Yeah, what a save by Damu. That was an absolutely beautiful cross-crease feed there. I thought Piatelli had a wide open net to put that in, but Damu was ready.
Johansson, a nice play there right over the center line to disrupt the zone entry for Philly. He will hand off and jog his way off. Johansson spent last year injured, but still in the NLL indirectly, working as the team's de facto video coach, so he was on the bench for every game, near every game, I should say. So he had the bird's eye view of what it's like to defend in the NLL, and he certainly found his stride. Skip shot there from Kurtz, handled by the Wings netminder Nick Damoud, and the outlet feed successful to Connor Sellers.
Well, Ty Kurtz, in his halftime interview, talked about continuing to move their feet, and I thought that was a great shift of them continuing, the Firewolves offense, continuing to move. They swing the ball all the way from one side of the boards to the other. That spreads out the defense. Last week against Ottawa, they packed in with the defense and were just settling for these outside shots that just were never gonna go, especially as Higgins locked in. So tonight, they're really looking to spread out this Wings defense and then attack internally.
Catoni's shot was stopped. The shot clock reset as Mitch Jones found the rebound. Speaking of which, Jones, who's guarded by Zach Young, fires. The rebound didn't get on net, so the shot clock remains moving, and it's down to 10. Pass disrupted by Colton Watkinson, and Watkinson will stride it over center.
Nice job by Watkinson to knock down that pass. That's the danger when you do that pressure double defense. You do give up the flip back over the head, and Watkinson, so big, does a nice job of corralling that, knocking that pass down.
Simmons, this way for Travis Longboat. Simmons, an athletic play to find that pass up top. Travis Longboat scores! Right at the end of the shot clock. Travis Longboat's second goal since returning from injury. Mitch, he was a player who you were looking out for here in this one, a depth scorer for Albany who can make a difference, and that's exactly what he's done.
Well, Travis Longboat was just the perfect cherry on top of a textbook definition of ball movement. This was incredible. The ball went from the left side to the top, to the right side, to behind, all the way back to Longboat. It touched every aspect of the offensive zone, and then Longboat finishes that one off, and that will chase Nick Damoud to the bench as Deacon Knott heads between the pipes and makes an attempt to try to quell this offense that has found its footing on the Firewolves side.
Fourth appearance of the season for Deacon Knott, a second-round draft pick of Philadelphia back in 2022. He'll head right back to where he came from after the faceoff. Possession will go to Albany, and Deacon Knott will see his first shots when we return.
The NLL is the next major league in sports, showcasing some of the greatest athletes in the world and a game day experience that is perfect for all ages. Go to your favorite team's website or visit NLL.com/tickets and experience the excitement for yourself today.
We're here to sweat the details, to test and retest. Because when you're known for speed and reliability inside, you need to deliver speed and reliability outside, in all kinds of weather, all year round. Because if it can handle all of this, it can definitely handle this. Introducing Aero Outdoor 7. Aero, the way Wi-Fi should be.
Mid-third quarter here in Albany, 10-5. Firewolves leading the Wings here in Week 13 in the NLL. Plenty of games coming up. Our upcoming schedules are brought to you by Hotel Planner. For Philadelphia, it seems like back-to-backs are the name of the game. They just played one against Halifax, and they're in the midst of a back-to-back against this same Albany team.
Yeah, those are good and bad, right? You know the team you're seeing, and it's a challenge, and they've got another one later on against Georgia, and then Albany. They'll face Rochester between their matchups with Philadelphia, and then they'll see Georgia as well, Buffalo, Vancouver, and San Diego. Not the easiest road down the stretch here for this Firewolves team that seems to have found their mojo here.
They lead 10-5. They lead on the shot board, 42-31. Worth noting that Tyler Burton has gone across the 900 loose ball recovery plateau in his career, and Doug Jamieson, by remaining in the cage, Jamieson has passed the 5,000 career minutes played mark today, and he's played some stellar minutes here on this Saturday evening as Kurtz will find his own rebound of that chance. And the save was made, by the way, by Deacon Knott, who, if you just joined us, replaced Nick Daymood, who gave up that most recent goal to Travis Longboat and was pulled by Ian Rubel. And we'll have a stoppage. There was a collision off ball. And
Ty Kurtz got drilled from behind. And I don't know, he must have gotten up and given him a whack, but they always say it's the second one that they catch, and we'll see what they called him for here. And here the fans aren't happy.
Albany minor penalty, 2 minutes unsportsmanlike embellishment.
Oh, so they called him for a dive embellishment. So they're going to say that he didn't actually get hit very hard.
All right, let's see.
Right between the refs on the left side. You know what? I like that call. I like that call. As a defender, right, it was just a little chop.
Sure.
And then Kurtz went all the way down. So they're saying, you know what? If it hurt your wrist, don't fall to the floor. This is kind of what the referees are saying there.
Well, after an accusation of the aquatic nature there for Ty Kurtz, he'll sit for 2. Philadelphia goes a man up. They were able to cash in earlier in the contest on their power play. They're able to collapse the penalty killers for Albany. They get their shot. That was Jones from the top of the offensive end. Jamieson made the save, but Tchaikovsky was stripped. And a fresh 30 seconds with which to work. Jones BTB towards Katoni, save made by Jamieson. This time, Tchaikovsky will try to escape, and he'll do so successfully.
And that Wings offense was just swarming the loose ball there. Nice job to earn it back. And they get the ball to a Katoni shot, and that's his spot right there, but great save by Jamieson, who's continued to look sharp tonight.
Just the second power play on either side. They've both belonged to the visitors. Sent in front as Albany was bidding for another shorthanded goal. They lead the league with 9 shorthanded tallies this season. We're bidding for number 10. They have 10 goals on offense through 2 quarters and change. Philadelphia continues on their power play when we return.
Castor will unveil the NLL's next generation uniform. Castor, better never stops. Let's send it back down to the one and only
Back in Albany, Andrew Kidd giving a quick smile to the camera that is trained directly upon him. He sits on the bench as his team leads by 5. The march is on. 14 teams chase the ultimate goal, and every game counts as the March to May begins next weekend. Tune in on TSN, ESPN, and of course, NLL Plus. Boy, it is amazing, Mitch Belisle, how the month of December becomes the month of March, and all of a sudden the playoff races start to heat up. You blink, and all of a sudden you're there.
And at the same time, everyone's still in it, right?
Yep.
Despite being 2-8, this Albany Firewolves team not mathematically eliminated and still right in the hunt.
It was 8 wins. That was the magic number last year. Granted, there were a lot of teams that tied for that final spot, but Kazchuk and Jones go head over Tea Kettle as it's one-handed by Jones at the end of the shot clock towards Jamison, and Patrick Kazchuk came up a little bit lame. He will limp his way, jogging style, but limp his way to the bench nonetheless.
They'll just dump that one in, but nice job there to Piatelli to just run under it and get it, as they will now get to kill all 30 seconds of the shot clock here and bring the penalty all the way down.
A penalty that has 5 seconds on it. It was Ty Kurtz for unsportsmanlike embellishment. Piatelli draws the 2 defenders, and it's waved off as he was in the crease.
Yeah, and that's the right call. I don't think they'll challenge it. I saw him fall into the crease, and then I was like, oh, that ball's going to bounce into the net. So because he was in the crease before the ball crossed the plane, that's going to be no goal, and they'll be looking at it on the iPad on the bench, but I don't think they're going to throw the challenge. I'd be surprised if they did.
That was a heck of an effort, shorthanded nonetheless. The entire shift there for John Piatelli was something impressive, but no red laundry on the floor for Albany for the time being. That pass did not connect with Resiteritz.
And that was exactly how you beat that pressure defense. You flip it back and then you fire it across. But that time they just can't catch it as Mike Byrne takes one to the midsection and possibly lower.
Yeah, that one certainly stung. It was the one-handed shot. Okay, let's take a look at what was just reviewed. And
yes, that one tucked up nicely, but I'm pretty sure Piatelli was in the crease while it found its way to the back of the net.
We'll call him mid-tumble.
There's another player that absorbed a shot.
Shot there from Walker. Speaking of absorbed, that one took a deflection off of a defender. Simmons tries the swim move. He is bottled up. He'll turn and fire and put it high and wide at the end of the shot clock. Deacon Knott has given up 5 goals. He made 20 saves so far this season, so a 75% save percentage as Jones gets a chance in front that Jamison was able to handle. Rebound still being battled for. Settled for the moment by Reardon, but scooped free by Tchaikovsky.
That ball just, sometimes it just seems to follow a guy. That ball was just bouncing around. Blaze Reardon didn't quite know where it was bouncing at his feet behind him. Just couldn't quite corral it.
Shooting there was Longboat bidding for his second, saved by Knott. Long outlet feed, however, didn't quite have the arc on it that I believe he was looking for, trying to hit Isaiah Davis-Allen, and it leads to a turnover.
Not what he was looking for there, Dan.
There's some arc to the touch pass for any goaltender. That wasn't quite there on that one. Firth shoots and an arm save, and he finds his own rebounds. So Deacon Knott is settling himself into this game. Players change on both sides. Philadelphia's offense takes the floor as O'Neill turns the corner and shoots. That one went wide. High bounce on the rebound. It was one-handed right in front of the center line by O'Neill. Albany grabs possession ultimately.
Well, that was Mitch Jones who directed O'Neill. He said, go, go, as he's running on to set a pick for O'Neill. He's telling him, go, go. And I like that. I want to see O'Neill be a little bit more aggressive, use his speed, his size. We saw Ottawa come in and play extremely physical last week, and that really set the Firewolves back on their heels. Tonight, the Firewolves have been the ones that have been dominant, and that's creating all the havoc.
One-on-one race. Philadelphia finds trailers, and that one hit the post. Rebound quickly to Katoni, and a save made by Jamison. Catoni scoops the rebound out of midair. 2 point-blank chances, then a third, and that one went wide. Piatelli, who was back taking a shift on defense in transition, finally settles the rebound.
Have to make sure those pipes are okay. Might have to repaint a few of them. Those were some absolute rips. But the iron reflected back, and Jamison with a nice save as well.
The heavy metal genre is alive and well here in Albany. 4-second difference between shot and game clock. Simmons swings to the far side, and that one's ripped wide. 4 seconds exactly as the clock will stop. Leclerc scoops up Catoni. Pass in front, and a save made as Reardon did get that chance away. Philadelphia was certainly efficient on that offensive possession, but Doug Jamison makes the save. He has found his form through 3 quarters of lacrosse action. It's been physical from the mascots to the players on the floor. We make the turn for home here in the Capital Region next.
Let's hear it one more time. Pancake team.
Delicious meal with a variety of hot and tasty options like cheeseburgers, mac and cheese, make your own hot dogs, or sink your teeth into our crispy chicken sandwich on a toasted butter roll. You're sure to find something that will satisfy your craving. Plus snacks, cookies, candies.
Back in Albany for the start of the 4th quarter, it is the Firewolves leading the Wings 10-5. The next NLL Friday night on TSN is set as Lyle Thompson and the Swarm head to Ottawa to face Jeff Teat in the Black Bears at 7 Eastern. Don't miss the action on TSN and ESPN+. Well, a lot of teammates from Canada and the United States, they love each other most nights, but maybe not as much earlier this week. And for more on that, here's Ashley.
Yeah, they don't love each other all that much, guys, but the beauty of living in Albany is you're pretty centrally located. And earlier this week on Monday night, there was a pretty important hockey game being played in Boston, Massachusetts. So a few of the Firewolves who live here in Market packed up, went to Boston to cheer for Team Canada as they played Finland on Monday night. It was a 5-3 Canada win. And oh, by the way, after that win, they went to a restaurant and ran into Team Canada. So you'll see Dyson Williams, Will Johansson with Carolina forward Sebastian Aho, and then also Sam Firth with Tampa Bay forward Braden Point. Not a bad trip. You get to meet Team Canada and see a Canada win.
Ashley, thank you. Yeah, and a lot of these Canadian players have the hockey and lacrosse dual backgrounds, growing up playing one in the winter and one in the summer, so I'm sure there was just a lot of shop talk in general between the two, as Philadelphia in possession for a chance 20 seconds into our 4th quarter. And Doug Jamison has made that save. I tell you what, that Four Nations face-off, I'm a hockey guy as well as a lacrosse guy. That event was awesome, and kudos to the hockey world for that one.
Yeah, the NHL absolutely knocked it out of the park. What a fun, exciting time. And, you know, like Ashley was saying, there's so much crossover between the American Canadian and the Canadians in the NLL. So definitely some group chats were blowing up and some smack was being talked on both sides over the course of the last few days.
It's funny you use the term group chat, because no form of social media or way of conversation was more popular in the Four Nations than the term group chat, as Matt Bukachuk and Brandon Hagel and Brad Marchand made a point of mentioning, but a lot of fun to watch. We have a fun one going on here as Jamison followed that one with the left shoulder on the shot from the top. Fresh 30 with which to work here for Philadelphia. Their offense still looking for consistent answers. It is Catoni. Left back for Jones. Ripped by Resiteritz. That one would not go. Long rebound. Will carry Albany over center.
And this is the question, Dan. Can they maintain that pressure-filled defense for 4 quarters? They've really only implemented it this week. Can they continue to pour it on and continue to execute it? And so far, the answer has been yes in the first 2 minutes of the 4th quarter.
Walker works it behind the net for Piatelli. Turning the corner, look to use the geometry on that one, but the shot would not go. Shot clock down to 5, Walker. Williams and a whistle, and possession given back to Philly.
And they're going to say that Williams had ran through the crease. If you run through the crease, as long as you're not the first player to touch the ball, that's okay. But they're going to say that Williams was indeed the first one.
Jones draws Nishimura, and a save made by Jamison. Fans, don't miss any of the action this season. Head to NLL.com/tickets and get front row seats to your favorite NLL team. For all the big hits, highlight reel goals, and star-studded matchups, that's NLL.com/tickets.
I don't know if I've ever seen that. Sanford just caught the ball in his stick while standing on the bench and just waited until the players subbed to go on. I don't think I've seen that in my entire time in the NLL there, Dan. Something new for people. Just like I learned that tonight, that pizza stick, it's got a name. It's called a pizza peel.
I was also today years old when I learned that. I would have, you look to me for an answer, I'm like, that is an area of expertise I do not have. I think your description of pizza stick would have been better than mine, pizza thing. Here is Zach Masson. Leading transition is Masson shooting from out high, and a save made by Knott. And Deacon Knott has certainly settled things down for Philadelphia as they've been able to get saves and quicker transition on defense. Meanwhile, here is Joe Resiteritz.
Yeah, Deacon Knott has kept a clean sheet thus far and has done a really nice job, like you said, of getting the ball up and out quickly.
Kazchuk was unable to settle the loose ball as it was hopping its way over center. Penalty coming up, it's going to be against the Firewolves, so add insult to injury from that turnover of possession.
Kazchuk just a little too aggressive there with the free hand. I think they're going to call him for a hold there.
We go 6-on-5 as Knott strode his way to the bench. The whistle will blow and we'll get the call. Chris Williams, our crew chief. Ryan Wilson, Brian Searsma, Herbie John, also part of the officiating crew here this evening.
Albany, number 19, Minor holding.
And just the 3rd penalty of the game, and all 3 of those have been against the Firewolves. Pretty clean game so far. We saw the little dust up. I guess there were 2 penalties doled out, but 1 to each team, so they kind of offset here, but pretty clean game otherwise. This vaunted Philadelphia Wings power play gets back to work. They need one here.
They certainly do. Jamison the first save, but a fresh 30 just 15 seconds into the power play. The ball movement is swift for this Philly power play. You see them collapse the Albany penalty kill before they get their shots. Quick stick there from the near side from LeClaire is handled by Jamison. Albany pushes the pace. It's Tchaikovsky, hands off, and a save made by Knott. On the chance, right out the O-door for Ty Kurtz, who was bidding for number 5.
Ty Kurtz has had a tough time in those tight situations tonight. He did score the one off of the Simmons feed, but otherwise he's been much better from that mid-range so far.
Philadelphia has ceded 6 shorthanded goals. That's tied for 3rd most in the NLL this season, entering play today, that is. Fired on goal, save made as Catoni got a point-blank chance.
Yeah, and that's just a heads-up play by Catoni, recognizing they're getting low in the shot clock, taking a good hard shot, expecting they'll get a rebound even if it doesn't go in.
Reardon keeps it moving. He catches again, hands off. Faking and shooting there with Jones. Save made, and the rebound after it was blocked was laying there for Joe Resiteritz, and he pots the rebound. Second power play goal for Philadelphia here in this one. and it's a 4-goal game. It's 10-6.
Well, and you just felt like that was just a matter of time. They had Jamison down on one knee, and he was doing everything he could to get back in position, but the ball was just moving too quick. They finally take the shot when he was down, and he makes the save. Watch here as he drops down to a knee, makes the save, but then it deflects right over. I guess he didn't actually save it, deflected off a defender, but it goes right to Resiteritz, who's able to easily put that one in the empty net.
Joe Resiteritz, a familiar name for Albany lacrosse fans in general. For more on that, here's Ashley.
He and Blaze both went back to Albany to watch the Danes play today. Guess what? He scored every single game in his collegiate career. 50 consecutive games. This is a guy that scored 170 points and is now in his 14th season in the NLL. So certainly a name that's familiar and beloved by Albany fans.
Back with more fourth quarter action here at MVP Arena right after this.
This is your life without Eero.
Oh, come on.
The Wi-Fi's out again.
This is the worst.
Not now.
And this is your life with Eero.
Oh, come on.
Why would you do this to us?
This is the worst.
We can't improve everything in your life, but we can improve your Wi-Fi. It's fast, reliable, and now available outside your home. Eero, the way Wi-Fi should be.
Under 10 remaining here in the fourth quarter. 10-6, Albany leading Philadelphia. Mid-fourth quarter here at MVP Arena. This is a connection that we've seen quite a few times here in the Capital Region, Mitch. Alex Simmons to Ty Kurtz, they combined for our Eero assist of the game.
Just a nice job by Simmons to draw so much attention, and then look at this feed, just perfectly on the money. He could have used a pizza peel to fire that over to him with the underhand dish, and Kurtz puts it in the far side.
Well, that's going to be our term of the broadcast, so to speak. Kurtz's first 2 goals were both assisted by Alex Simmons. Kurtz has 4 goals and 5 points. Alex Simmons has 4 assists so far in this one, and Simmons needs 2 more for 100 career assists. He's been a playmaker to this point. He strides his way in on the right side of the offense, finding Williams. Save made by Deacon Knott. Long outlet feed and just a bit too long. It'll go from goaltender to near goaltender. Chopped out there by Watkinson and scooped up by Zach Young. The goal from Joe Resiteritz, our first goal of the fourth quarter, and our first goal since the 8:44 mark of the third. So offense has been pretty hard to come by.
Since the second quarter, when Albany went on that 3-goal run, the teams have traded goal for goal every single time. So answering one after the other.
Penalty coming up at the end of the shot clock as Williams got one more crack at it from out high. Still got a lot on it, which is something that Dyson Williams does quite often. Let's get the call.
Philadelphia, number 20, minor penalty.
And it took nearly 3.5 quarters, Mitch, but we'll see Albany's power play for the first time this evening.
And they called an illegal body check. You can see just a little too much, one too many steps there by Nate Fair as he runs into the shooter after he's released it on the Albany power play, 44%.
Philadelphia's penalty kill, meanwhile, just under 50%, 11th in the NLL entering play today. It's an interesting wrinkle for the special teams with the coordinator switch for Albany this week. Who's calling what plays to whom? Ty Kurtz works it behind the cage. The dunk try is true for Alex Simmons. Albany's power play clicks, and they're back up by 5.
Well, that would have been a great shot to take and an even better pass to make to Simmons behind the net. They had the defense moving from side to side, believe it was Ty Kurtz that made the eventual pass over. A really nice seal there. Watch Simmons at the top of your screen. Sorry, that's Longboat who sets the little up screen. Kurtz comes down and then finds Simmons. That would have been a great shot for Kurtz, but even better to give it back behind where Deacon Knott can't take one side and then get all the way to the other. A nice dunk there for Simmons. And that's the first one that gets by Deacon Knott.
Pretty remarkable to see that he settled things down for over half a quarter. And it took an Albany power play, their first of the game, in order to find Twine. 5 combined goals between Alex Simmons and Ty Kurtz, and the other has assisted on 3 of those 5. And Albany's lead is back up 2-5 as we tick towards the midway point of the 4th quarter. Piatelli tried to shoot over the shoulder. That one got blocked. Tracked down, 2 seconds and 1. And a heave, caught with the catching glove.
The
hockey goaltender,
open hand.
catcher style.
Does that count as a save? I think so.
I certainly hope so. Hand-eye to the extreme. Now, that wasn't shot a million miles an hour, but still, hand-eye's hand-eye. Near side, Sam LeClaire. LeClaire backs off. Resiterit steps down, and an arm save made by Jamison. Just 1 power play goal, 4 points in total for Joe Resiterit in his Capital Region return. Stepping down there was Longboat, and a save made, but the rebound is scooped up by Simmons. Firth started and then stopped.
We mentioned it earlier, but Mitch Jones, he scored 7 or more points every game this season. He's been held to just 3 so far as Simmons just almost gets decapitated there. He's looking around like, where is the penalty? Now he realizes he's got to get out of the crease if his teammates can score, and after he sees that there's a penalty, he rolls out, and that one's on the outside for a mom or dad goal. The fans are going nuts, but it's on the outside.
Well, that was chaotic. Okay, so Simmons drew the penalty going to the net. We'll get the call in a moment. And to your point, the wherewithal to realize, ooh, I got to get myself out of the crease, which he did. All right, here's the call.
Philadelphia minor penalty, 2 minutes hooking.
So the rare hooking call, every now and then you get the hold, but this one they gave the hook. As you can see, he's got the stick up. That was, yeah, I'd say his face was hooked by the stick there of Wagner. And you can see right there, he's looking around, realizes I got to get out of the crease if I want to give my teammate an opportunity, and now they'll go back in the power play.
2 power plays in rapid succession for Albany. They scored on their last one a few moments ago. Dyson Williams quarterbacking this time around. Walker quickly for Kurtz. Tried to center one for Williams, who was cutting to the net. Passing lane evaporated in the blink of an eye, and Philadelphia will take it the other way. Bye week coming up for the Wings. They will host the Firewolves in 2 weekends' time at the Wells Fargo Center. Albany begins a 2-game road trip at Rochester next week, and then, as previously mentioned, these 2 teams will meet again.
And I think this is time for this Wings team to do some soul searching and maybe look for some different pieces defensively, because they've really struggled there, and they came out of the gates really hot. They went on a 4-game winning streak, and since then, it's been a tough slide. Now, they lost a couple key pieces. They lost Scott Dominy, who they picked up from the former New York Riptide. He was a big piece of their defense early on, and his season ended off with an injury, but they need to find some guys that can pick up loose balls and that can play some tough physical defense inside. I think they need to get some guys that are ready to do that, like now, if they want to make a push, despite still being in a great place at 5-5 right now.
Well, that's the ironic thing about all of this. With Albany at 2-8, they're still trying to make their way back into the picture. Philadelphia, with the results on Friday night, was in that final playoff spot. As we showed you the graphic at the beginning of the broadcast, they were in 8th. So a loss is a setback, but it's not a season ender by any stretch of the imagination, as Knott makes the save.
Nice kick save by Doug Jamison on one end, and then Deacon Knott with a kick save on the other end.
Kick save and a beauty, some would say. Power play about to conclude for Albany. Everybody looking over their shoulder at the shot and game clock. Fired on goal. That one hit the post.
And that, to me, is always the most dangerous time, is the 3 seconds between when the player gets back into the play and when the power play ends. You're technically all even, but that player hasn't rejoined. I feel like that is when a majority of those even strength at the end of power play goals get scored.
Well, Tchaikovsky was able to track down the rebound. He was the player who was responsible for watching the penalty box. Another shot, that one would not go. High rebound. Simmons laid a bit of a hit. Kurtz tracks down the rebound, 2 seconds and 1, and Deacon Knott will make the save. And that will send us to our final television timeout of regulation. Firewolves, a 5-goal advantage. We wrap regulation up on the other side. A look at the NLL standings before our results from this evening factor in. Philadelphia again on the right side of the playoff picture with tiebreakers entering play today. The Firewolves still at the bottom of the table, but looking to work their way up, and they're 3 minutes and 47 seconds from doing so. Another good battle on hand in the NLL. What else is new? Georgia holding a 9-8 advantage, and I believe fans of Philadelphia are fans of Toronto in this situation, because a Georgia loss would bring them closer to the pack. But that one going right down to the wire in Georgia, a 1-goal road lead. Deacon Knott was on the bench. He sprints his way back, finds his post, and Johansson will hit the brakes.
And it looks like Georgia's going to be on the power play for 5 minutes there, 5 of the remaining 9, so they'll have a chance to extend that lead, as Deacon Knott is going to get his sprints in this last 4 minutes of our game here.
Hopefully he's a Whoop guy, an Apple Watch guy, something, because every step counts in this situation. But Knott goes back to the bench. 6 on 5 with just over 3 minutes to go in a 5-goal game. Quick stick there. Jamison makes the save. Outlet feed coming towards Nishimura, who will chase Deacon Knott back to the net. But knowing that time is on the side of the Albany Firewolves, Nishimura will hit the brakes and hand off.
A little bit less time, and I think Doug Jamison might have had a crack at that. But given that they want to kill as much of this clock as possible, he gets it up to his teammates, lets them kill the 30 seconds, and then wait for his opportunity late in the game to take a crack at it.
Longboat, I should say, will shoot, and a save made, and Walker found the rebound.
And that's huge, because that's another 30 seconds they can kill, bringing this one under 2 minutes here. We'll see if we get any crazy shenanigans like we saw last night. The double penalty shot, the Saskatchewan game against Vancouver, because under 2 minutes, if you have a delay or illegal substitution penalty, it's a penalty shot. And then that illegal substitution tackled a guy on a breakaway, so that's a penalty shot. Just a lot of fun last night in the NLL. Continues tonight.
Certainly the case, as Knott will stride his way back to the bench. Albany essentially played that offensive shift 4 on 5. Zach Masson was standing at center as the last line of defense, metaphorically and physically. Shot from Ressiter, it's handled by Jamison. He finds his own rebound. Shot from out high, save made, and the rebound and a hit laid by Young in the crease. Some pushing and shoving from both sides there as Reardon involved. The second-year player, Zach Young, the aggressor. Johansson and Kazchuk on one side.
And Young kind of took Reardon down. I thought that probably should have been a penalty on Young, because he kind of tackled Reardon, and I thought it was, you know what, frankly, I thought it was a great play. Reardon was dead to rights on the backside, had the ball. Young tackled him down. Reardon took exception to it. Now we got multiple infractions here.
Well, it's the original two. It's Reardon and Young.
So we're going to play 4-on-4 again. So
Penalties on the play. Albany number 24, Philadelphia number 10. Rough it, 4-on-4.
So the rough is the call. Rough, ready, as my friends in Paw Patrol might say.
A quick moment to shout out the Belial family, who I was lucky enough to meet last weekend. You guys had a great weekend here in the area, and it was a lot of fun to have a couple production assistants up in the broadcast booth as well. So hope the Belial family is all doing well.
Appreciate you making space for them up here at the booth. They had a great time. Love listening in on the headsets.
It is a cool experience, I have to say. I wear one for a living, and I still feel that way. Alex Simmons splits two defenders. 1-on-4 he goes, and a save made by Knott as he hugged that far post.
Simmons, just a feisty bulldog in there. You could see as soon as he saw that glimmer of light, he exploded for it, and then he saw he was going into a triple or even a quadruple. And what a save by Jamison. That one was going 5-hole, and he did a nice job.
Deacon Knott remained in the cage. It's a 3-on-1, however, for Albany. Chikowski hands off, and Masson will make the wise play and use the clock to his advantage, as fans here at MVP Arena will begin to stand at attention.
As much as Clem Durazio wants this offense to keep scoring goals, I think he understands the assignment here.
They'll get another go, and a save made by Knott on the chance from Travis Longboat. It went up and out, and Albany will maintain possession, and the shot clock is now off.
Yeah. Save, but at the same time, it went out of play. Best case scenario, if you're going to get your shot saved, you get the ball back and you can kill it with the shot clock under 30.
Game clock now under 10. Albany took some risks this week, making a change to the offensive and defensive coordinators.
Mitch Jones gets a late slash there in frustration, and he is going to go to the box. He'll end his night with the lowest point total of his season.
Philadelphia number 24, 2-minute slashing.
Joe Rezateritz, second in league scoring, was held to 4, 1 goal and 3 assists. And this new pressure defense, I would say, was a success.
Certainly 1 for 1 in that regard. Final seconds will tick off the clock here at MVP Arena. And the home fans will stand and applaud the Albany Firewolves. They pick up their 3rd win of the season and 2nd here in front of the home fans in the Capital Region. Doug Jamison found his form in a resounding way. Albany snaps their 3-game losing streak, and Jamison makes 46 saves in net for Albany. He seeds just 6. 11-6 is your final here this evening. Nick Damuth, 32 saves. He gives up 10. And a head nod to Deacon Knott. He gives up just 1, makes 19 saves in 21 minutes and 16 seconds worth of relief. He certainly settled things, but it was too little, too late for Albany, who wins game number 3. They move even with Las Vegas. The Desert Dogs do have the tiebreaker, and Philadelphia, for the time being, at 5-6. As we await some other results around the league, sit on the outside of the playoff picture. They have a bye week next week before hosting the Firewolves at the Wells Fargo Center. Albany is back in action next weekend on the road against another in-state rival in Rochester. They begin a 2-game road trip. And Mitch, your thoughts on both sides as Albany victorious for the 3rd time this season?
I think Albany played at their best offensively. I thought defensively, they adapted to the new system. They executed it nearly flawlessly, and they really fired on all aspects of the game. They were 50% on the power play. They scored 8 5-on-5 goals, and they scored a few in transition. That's what you're looking for. They put it all together. On the wing side, they've got to clean up this defense, and their offense was mysteriously absent in the face of a tough changing defense.
Doug Jamieson was outstanding in net tonight for the Firewolves. He is downstairs with Ashley Miller.
Doug, you guys made a change with coordinators, and you shifted to a different defense. Were they giving you different looks? Because it looked like a different team out there tonight.
Yeah, I definitely felt more comfortable with the defense tonight. I think it threw them off too, just coming out and seeing a totally different defense than what you're expecting. So next game, we're not going to catch them off guard, so I think we got to keep working, but it worked well tonight.
In terms of the energy, is that just something that gives you kind of a hard reset and jump starts you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we were doing some soul searching there for a couple weeks. I know myself, I've been struggling, so that game I think means a lot and could be a turning point in our season, hopefully.
To put together a game like that, is it a good thing to have kind of a short turnaround and go to Rochester now on Friday?
Yeah, I think so. Just ride the momentum, and hopefully we can do it again there.
Thanks, Dougie. Congrats.
Yeah, thanks, Ashley.
Ashley, thank you. The ultimate birthday present for the Firewolves mascot, Alfie. It's a win here on a chilly Saturday in the Capital Region. Once again, our final score was the Albany Firewolves 11 and the Philadelphia Wings 6. Tonight's game was produced and directed by Joel Kate. This has been a National Lacrosse League presentation in association with Freedom Broadcast Studios. The coordinating producer for the NLL is Scott Zolatoro, and the manager of broadcast is Mike Pettit. The senior VP of NLL broadcast operations is Ed Durst, and the executive producer of the NLL is Joel Feld. For Mitch Belisle and Ashley Miller, I'm Dan Ball. Thanks for watching, and good night from Albany, New York.
Don't forget to visit the merchandise stand behind the 6 team.